Hello to my Math 186 students. This is your instructor, Mrs. Thomas. Thank you so much for hanging on in there with me. We are now at chapter 12. Can you believe it? Chapter 12, which is on insulin. So let's get started. I want to give you, of course, I always want to give you the learning objectives so you'll know why we are here, what we are doing, and hopefully give you an opportunity to log on to Zoom if you have any questions or any concerns, or you just need some assistance. So I'm always here to assist you wherever I can. Okay. So chapter 12 is dealing with insulin. I want you to be able to explain the purpose of insulin, be able to use different types of insulin, compare 4 different types, whether it is the 1 milliliter, the 100 unit syringe, or the 0.5 milliliter syringe, which is for the 50 unit syringe, to be able to distinguish among the various types of insulin devices. I want you to be able to explain the concept of a sliding scale, as well as describe the steps necessary to prepare insulin for injection. Okay, we're going to also describe the steps necessary to mix 2 insulins in 1 syringe, and also describe a subcutaneous insulin pump function. Okay, so I'm sure you have read through your text, and of course when we are preparing insulin, insulin of course is going to be the natural hormone secreted by the islets of the Langerhans in the pancreas to maintain blood sugar levels. The major insulin preparation in use today are, of course, synthetic human insulin preps, whether it's regular or the NPH, and their analogs. I want you to zero in on the rapid-acting analogs include the Aspart, Lispro, Humalog, and Glulisine. The long-acting insulin analogs include various, whether it is the insulin glargine, insulin detemir, and insulin degludec. Okay, so all of these are imperative and important when you are looking at your text, reading your text, because it is so very important that you know different types of insulin as well, because sometimes you will not necessarily always use the U100 syringe. Depending on the dosage, you will use the U200, U300, and possibly the U500 injection. Okay, and the Humulin U500 vials, which are useful for the treatment of insulin-resistant patients with diabetes, requiring a daily dose greater than 200 units. So when we are discussing which syringe, I want you to be aware of this text, and I want you to always refer back to your text. Okay, so we have the U500 insulin syringe. Of course, you have the needle shield, the plunger here, okay, the syringe body, the U500. There's a symbol on the syringe that you will be able to recognize, the plunger rod, and what is shown here is the 85 units. So let me zoom in here. Okay, to the 85. And you're saying, well, Ms. Thomas, how? Well, you're going to count units. Okay, you're looking at your units. So just say if this is 75, okay, and then from 75 down here is going to be 25. So from 75 to 100 is 25. So you're thinking what should be where 85 is if you count it in increments of 10. So would that be 80? Would that be 85, 95, 105? What's wrong with that picture? Okay, let's try it again. What about 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100? So it's definitely important that you want to go back and you want to make sure you understand the text, please. Okay, next we have the different types of insulin, its onset, the peak, and its duration. Okay, so I want you to definitely go back and read that in your text. When we're looking at insulin, it's also prepared in a premixed combination. You're looking at different ratios, whether it's Novolent, whether it's 70% NPH and 30% regular. So those are also extremely important. Okay, insulin delivery devices are here on page 239. Okay. They have the different syringes, and that is crucial. I want you to know the most common single scale 1 milliliter is the U100 syringe, which is calibrated every 2 units. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, every 2 units, with every 10th unit marked in large numbers on one side. So I know you're going to read through your text and you'll know the differences in the syringe. We have here an example of the standard U100 syringe and the low dose U50 insulin syringe with 1 unit calibration markings every 5 units. Okay, indicates 35 units of regular insulin here. Okay, so I'm just giving you time just in case you need to stop the video and read. That is absolutely fine with me. Then you have disposable pens, which is also extremely important. How you hold the needle in the subcutaneous tissue to count of 5 after administering the dose to ensure complete delivery. So all of these concepts are extremely important. The insulin pumps are used to cover, okay, usually or after or correct a high glucose meal. I want you to read that text as well. The injection ports here. This is what is called a pre-filled with 300 units of insulin. Enhanced color branding for easy insulin identification. Okay, the insulin administration. The sliding scale coverage is extremely important. Sometimes patients receive additional rapid-acting insulin during the day to correct the high blood sugar. Okay, preparing insulin for injection. You want to never shake the insulin vial. Always mix the suspended insulins by rolling between the palms of your hands. So please read the sliding scale information on table 12.2. Okay. Next, the next section talks about mixing 2 types of insulin in 1 syringe. You do not want to contaminate the contents of the one vial with the contents of the other vial. Always drop regular insulin first. Always drop the NPH insulin last because chemically it has a protein substance in it that regular insulin does not have. So make sure you read through your text, and they even give you a really good example here on page 247. The proper way to invert the vial of a regular insulin and draw back the required dosage. Page 249 gives you clear and concise directions when you're using 10 units of regular insulin, how to invert it. The continuous intravenous insulin infusion gives you an example of each. And of course, the formula method, which I love, D over H, we've talked about that, desired over what you have on hand times the quantity. Okay, and this will be your homework assignment. Numbers 1 through 20. Okay, so now let us start with some practice problems. You know how I love practice problems. So we have chapter 12, insulin problems. Find the mark for the following units of insulin and mark or shade in, let me skip this, my book over, in the syringe to correct the calibration. So I have done number 1 and 2 for you. Okay, so number 1 says Humulin regular, okay, 70 units. So we're going to use the U100 syringe. So I have marked this for you and I've shaded the syringe in to identify the number of units. Okay, the Humulin in 55 units. Of course, is in between 50 and 60, so at least you know where it should go. And I've shaded number 2 in for you as well. Okay, the Lantus 85 units. Okay, so let's zero in as much as I can without making it blurry. So it is, you're here at 80, and this is 90. So that means, it can't be, it's not 10 tick marks in between. So that means this can't be 81, 82, 83. No, it has to be 82, 84, 86, 88, 90, okay? So yours would be here. Let me zoom in. Just want to make sure my plunger is right. I'm just shading it in as I go. The syringe. Okay, so I know you will be able to identify. Y'all know I hate. Okay, all right. And so on and so forth on that one. Let me turn the page, okay? Just want you to identify where these units will be on your syringe. So I'm sure you can all find the proper number for the syringe, okay? Next, let's look at some problems. Okay, let me zoom out so that just in case you need to stop the video. Okay, so let's start with number 11. Okay, you know I like to have my calculator handy. It's very important that we have our calculator handy. Okay, so for the first number 11, write down the number 11. 11 says, a nurse is going to administer 8 units of regular insulin in combination with 22 units of NPH. The nurse would select a what kind of syringe and prepare a combined dose of how many units? Well, Ms. Thomas, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to solve this. Well, it's very simple, and you know I always give it to you where you are able to understand it. So by the dosage being from 8 units, and combination means to add something to it. So we're just going to add, so 22 plus 8 will give me 30 units. Okay, so 8 units plus 22 units equals 30 units. I know you're like, Ms. Thomas, it cannot be that easy. It is. Okay, so if you only you are administering 30 units, the syringe is going to be your smallest syringe. So you're going to use the U50 syringe on that one. Okay, and I want you to go back and I want you to look in your textbook and I want you to look at the differences between the U50 syringe, the U100 syringe, the U200 syringe, so you will know when to use it. And that was it on that one. Okay, for number 12, a nurse is going to administer 18 units of regular insulin in combination, that's the key word, combination, with 10 units of NPH. The nurse will select a U blank syringe and prepare a combined dose of how many units? Well, first let's get the total together. So 18 units plus 10 units for number 12. Okay, equals 28 units. Make sure y'all add that up for me. Make sure your teacher has that correct. So you're going to use, of course, the U50 syringe. Okay, that's going to be your smallest syringe. You're not going to be able to use anything smaller. The U50 syringe, please use that one. For 13, a nurse is going to administer 20 units of regular insulin in combination with 40 units of NPH. The nurse will select the U blank syringe and prepare a combined dose of how many units? Okay, so for 13, we're writing that down. So it is 20 units plus 40 units. Okay, we're just adding. So you're gonna put 60 units in that syringe. So of course you can't utilize the U50. Okay, so we're gonna have to use the next syringe up from that, which is the U100 syringe. So make sure you go back and read it in your text. Okay, for number 14, okay, the nurse knows that when combining regular insulin with NPH insulin, the insulin is drawn up last into the syringe is NPH. The regular insulin is always drawn up first, the regular insulin. The NPH is always drawn last. You want to put that last, okay? Okay. For 14, the nurse knows that when combining regular insulin with NPH insulin, the insulin that is drawn up last is the, all right, just making sure you got it. All right, 15. I have to double check and double check again. All right, number 15. The physician orders 45 units of NPH insulin subcutaneously daily. The nurse teaches the patient to use a U-blank syringe and drop the NPH insulin to the blank line on the syringe. Have you read your text? I know my students have. Okay, I know my students have. So if you're using the if you only have 45 units, you can use the U50 syringe. You can use the U50 syringe. And if you are trying to figure out, well, how far do I take the syringe? You're going to draw it up 45 units. And that is your answer. Okay? You're going to draw up the 45 units and you're going to put it into the U50 syringe. So far, so good. I told you it wasn't bad at all. Okay, just turn the page. Okay, to number 16. 16. We are on a roll. Okay, for 16, the physician orders 65 units of NPH insulin subcutaneously daily. It's been a long day, guys. The nurse teaches the patient to use a blank syringe and drop the NPH insulin to the blank line on the syringe. So this is just making sure you understood 15. So I like these practice examples that go back and reiterate what you already know. So this is excellent. This is definitely practice, and more practice. Okay, so I'm hoping that you already have evaluated and you are looking and you're thinking to yourself, Ms. Thomas, I can't put these 65 units in a U50 syringe, so I have to use the next syringe up. So I'm hoping all of you decided on the U100 syringe. And when it came to drawing up, you would go back to the original problem, and you're going to draw up 65 units of insulin. Okay, let's go to 17. A diabetic patient who needs to take NPH insulin daily has been discharged to home. The nurse makes sure the patient understands that NPH insulin takes how many hours to become effective, reaches its peak after how many hours, and has a duration of how many hours. So I want you to go back. That's definitely in your text, okay? But I want you to think about it. I want you to say, Ms. Thomas, I read the text, but I can't really remember what hours I need to go to, okay? Well, I'm here to help you. So on 17, it says it takes 1 hour to become effective. Okay, so it takes about an hour. Okay, when it reaches its peak, it takes about 6 to 12 hours to reach the peak. Okay, well, Ms. Thomas, what about the duration of it? How long does it last? It can last 18 to 24 hours. Okay, so that is the answer for that. Okay, and that was 17. All right, 18. The nurse knows that the type of rapid-acting insulin that has the shortest onset and duration is, have you read your text? Do you remember? Humalog. Very good. Humalog. And the more you read about it and insulin, the more you will understand. So don't get discouraged if you didn't know it right off the bat. That's okay. We're here learning together. Okay, number 19. Okay, Ms. Thomas, I'm gonna need help with 19. I understand. Okay, the physician ordered 20 units of regular insulin per hour intravenously. Okay, an IV solution of 500 milliliters of normal saline with 125 units of regular insulin was available. The nurse knew to run the IV at blank milliliters per hour. The IV should infuse in how many hours? Okay, so let me grab some paper and turn the page, of course. Okay, what number was that, students? 18? Or was that 19? You know, you got to keep me on my toes. All right, number 19. So where will we start first? Let me put our textbook right here. Okay, so we're going to start with the unit. So if they need to take the NPH on 17, that's going to be, no, I'm on 19. Oh, yes. Okay, so we want to start off first with 20 units. So 20 units. So we're going to divide units by units. That's where I want to start. That's where I want to start. 2 units divided by 125 units. Okay, that's where we want to definitely start. Okay, and then I want to multiply that times how many milliliters. Okay, that's also part of the formula that's also in your book. Okay, so units to units times the milliliters that we are given. Okay, so that will be 20 divided by 125, which equals 0.16 times 500 equals 80. So it should run 80 milliliters per hour. 80 milliliters per hour when I put that in the calculator. Okay, well, Ms. Thomas, what do I do next? I don't know what it's asking for. Okay, well, we got the first part. It's asking for how long should the nurse run the IV. She's going to run it for 80 milliliters. Well, Ms. Thomas, what would that be in hours? Because I know milliliters, I need 80 milliliters, but I need you to help me with the time. I'm right here, ready and happy to serve. Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to convert it into minutes. So I'm going to use my 20 units, okay, divided by 60 minutes, because I need to figure out the time. Time is important. All right, so I'm going from units to units here. Okay. Now I want you to help me cross multiply. So that'll be 20 units times X and 125 times 60. Okay, that gives me 7,500 units, okay, per minute. I'm just trying to write everything down so you have step by step. Okay, so I want you to divide both sides by 20 units on each side. 20 units. Okay, 375 minutes. Okay, so we have 375. Okay, well, but I still don't know what that will be in minutes. I still need to convert a little more. All right, so let me divide it by 60 minutes. Okay, that'll be 6 hours, 0.25 minutes. Okay, so this will be the hours. Okay, Ms. Thomas, I got the 6 hours, but I'm trying to figure out what is that in minutes though, because 0.25 is going to be what? Well, of course, we've done decimals, we've done ratios, we've done fractions. So remember, 0.25 is 1/4. Okay, well, 1/4 of what? Well, we're going to do 1/4 of 60 seconds, which is a minute. Okay, so I want you to divide. Right. So 1/4 times 60, that will give us how many minutes 0.25 is. So 60 divided by 4 equals 15 minutes. So she needs to run the pump 6 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, that's 6 hours and 15. Let me zoom out so you can get all of that on the practice. Okay, that was 19. Okay, let's try another one if you don't mind. I know I've done a lot, but just bear with me, please. I like to give you a lot of examples. All right, for number 20, let's try another one. A patient is to receive 15 units of regular insulin per hour, IV. An IV solution of 125 units in 250 milliliters of normal saline is available. The nurse will run the IV at how many milliliters per hour, and the IV should infuse in how many hours. So I know we've done number 19, but I always like to give you one more. So let's start with you always start with the units. So it will be 15 units divided by 125 units times our milliliters that they have given us. So let me zoom in here so you can get that. So let me go back over that. So 15 units is what was given. Okay, that's what the patient is to receive. Okay, that's where you always start here. Divided by 125. 15 over 125 times the milliliters times 250. So that's where this is set up for. 15 divided by 125. 0.12 times 250 equals 30. Okay, so that'd be 30 milliliters per hour. Okay, so far so good. Okay, Ms. Thomas, now I need you to help me get the minutes together. I got that part together. I need you to help me get the minutes together. Okay, so right here we're gonna do 15 units, okay, over 60 minutes like we did before. We're gonna do the same steps over and over again. And 125 units. Y'all know what I'm, okay, that's 25, yeah, 125 over 8. So we're gonna cross multiply that. That's gonna be 15 units times X equals 125 times 60 equals 7,500, okay, units per minute. Okay, I want you to divide both sides by 15 on both sides here. Okay, and then 7,500 divided by 15 equals 500. Okay, so that's 500 minutes. Now you need to help me convert. So now we're going to divide that by 60 again. Okay, so that's 60 seconds in a minute to make an hour. Okay, so that's 8 hours, 33 minutes. So that'll be like 8.3 hours. Well, we know from the 8.33. Okay, well, Ms. Thomas, that 0.3, what is 0.3? We did decimals. What's 1/3? That's 1 divided by 3 is 3, yeah. Repeating, of 60. So 1/3 of 60, you're gonna do 60 divided by 3. And that will be 20 minutes. Okay, so that needs to run 8 hours and 20 minutes. You got it. You got your answer here. Okay, all right, students, I hope that has helped you like it has helped me. Okay, all right, get started.